Good afternoon. Today is the 10th of April and we're just on the way back from the Driven 24/7 social event that's taken place in Poole, a place called Revo's Hub. I do apologise if the camera is sort of wobbling a bit and all sorts of other things because it's just the way it goes on this channel, I'm afraid. It's time for yet another very vague vlog. These aren't particularly planned, they are not particularly interesting, but if you want to know what's going on the channel on a week-to-week basis, this is the best way of doing it, particularly if you are a channel member, because you actually get to see these if you're on the set Toledo tier and above on the day that they come out. Those of you who are not members in that way, then you see them about a month after they're recorded. So the video from the event, that will actually have gone up first, and I hope you enjoyed the one or two tasty treats that were there. It's wonderful to be finally getting into sort of show season, and I think actually what's going to be happening is that the event that we were going to have back in October 2021 at the Lakeland Motor Museum in conjunction with Planet Auto is actually going to be going ahead. That's probably going to be in June. Mr. Quirt from Planet Auto and I have been talking about it, and we think we've got a date settled. It's very annoying trying to work things out in the show season. There's always overlapping events and that sort of stuff, but we think we've actually managed to find something that's going to work for both of us, which is really good. So those of you who are channel members on the set Toledo tier and above, this is your first official notification of that, and it's the third weekend of June, which I think is, from what I remember, sort of like the 17th and 19th of June or something like that. It's that weekend. It's something like that. I should have actually looked at that before I started recording. That would have been better. But yes, anyway, that's when it will be. Also, I've been invited to take part in an event in September on the Isle of Wight. I've even been supplied with a suitable vehicle for it. So some of you might have already seen, if you're channel members, a review of the Toyota Paseo that was actually at the social we had in Cadnam near Southampton last month. That is owned by a gentleman by the name of Mr. Pink, and Mr. Pink has a speciality in minis, particularly the classic ones. So he came today in a car that you would have seen actually in the Driven 24/7 video of the social event. It's a 1990 Mini Studio 2 that's been heavily modified to look like an older one, which is very possible with the old minis. You can make them look older if you want, a lot of people do. So that is apparently going to be the car that I can drive in the Isle of Wight. I need to ask my lady wife for permission, of course, before I book things in, but because we don't have to actually bring the car, he's bringing that car on a trailer, although it works perfectly well, it's tax temperature and everything. But he isn't actually going to be driving it, so I'm going to go, I think, on the little run that they have on one of the days. So that should be fun. I was in the right place at the right time. I live very near the Isle of Wight, but I've not been there for some considerable time. And the reason for that is because the ferry is quite expensive to go over to the Isle of Wight. But if you do bring a Mini over for the Isle of Wight Mini event, then you get a discount on the price of the ferry, which is brilliant. So we're going to be just sort of looking into that and seeing how that sort of goes, and whether or not, you know, we could be part of that. So that should be fun. It's in September. I think it's about 17th, 18th of September, something like that. So that should be interesting. As you can see, driving along this road, this is the A31 near Wimborne. The weather's very much improved. It's a little bit nippy possibly, but it's not too bad, and it just feels like show season already, and that's really good. The car will be going to numerous shows. I've already talked about a lot of them, so I won't go over too much ground, but we've got shows later this month, we've got shows next month, we've got shows in June now, July, August. I've just booked in for the Rover Fest, which is at the beginning of August. Then, you know, a couple in September, obviously, we're now doing. The final show of the year will probably be as this year. It'll be in November. It'll be one at the NEC. But yes, you know, sort of positive things, and you know, once the calendar's kind of there, and you know, we always do cover all these things, the channel updates, things like that. Then I'll be possible to meet some of you at some of these, particularly the Bromley pageant's a big one, but you've actually got a stand at that one. It's our own stand. So it's obviously something that hasn't happened before. I've actually ordered a kind of advertising banner thing for that, and we're going to have quite a few YouTube channels joining in that as well. There's going to be quite a few coming as well, as me and a couple of my friends who also have 45s and GZSs. So it should be an excellent thing. It's I think it's the 12th of June, so 12th or 13th of Sunday that weekend anyway. At Norman Park, which is in Bromley, in Greater London, so that should be fun. That's a huge event actually. That's 800,000 cars, I don't know, something crazy like that. Suffice it to say that in 2019, when I actually did that, I didn't actually cover the whole event. It wasn't possible. I think I ran out of battery and space. These days I'm a bit better with kind of preparing myself for all the shows and making sure I've got, you know, sufficient memory capacity and battery on what I'm recording on to be able to actually cover everything. Obviously today there was only one video to do, so I just didn't even take anything special at all. I just took a normal phone for that sort of thing. But that's one thing you have to sort of really work out. It's only by experience that you actually know what's going on with that. There are many things that you just get to know what to do as when you do even the sort of low quality show recording, which is shambolic shuffles that I do. Alex's assets actually, when she started doing those, she asked me what she should call them, and she decided on the name Gimbal Bimble. The thing of a Gimbal Bimble is that actually you've got a much higher quality camera and better stabilisation than what I do, but for some reason people like the way that the shambolic shuffles are. So, well, there's no reason to change it, is there? If people like them and they're successful, there's no reason to. And so we shall not. We shall continue to do things the way that they are, which you know, suits me just fine. Right, I think that's quite enough of me going on about very little. I just hope you are looking forward to all the shows that are coming up as much as I am, particularly when we have our own social event coming up in June as well, and probably pageants and everything else. So thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, like this video, and to leave a comment below. If you are on that second tier up of channel members, then I hope you appreciate just having this a little bit early, because I appreciate all of you for allowing us to do stuff. I've actually just used a donation that I've had to book some accommodation for one of the shows that I'm attending, actually two of them, bits of it. So that's all going to be fun. Anyway, that's quite enough from me. Thank you ever so much indeed once again.